Now, the King and Queen consort will depart Buckingham Palace in a Bugatti Veyron before dropping her into fifth gear and hitting 250 kilometres per hour down the Mall, and then pulling up the handbrake and sliding sideways through Admiralty Arch, and then drifting around Trafalgar Square sideways again, and the Queen will then get her baps out as the King bangs the car into sixth gear and puts the foot down through Whitehall and Downing Street, while flipping the middle finger to any politicians in waiting, and then slamming on the brakes as they hit Parliament Square. Now, from here, the King will slowly curb crawl outside Westminster Abbey to stake out the talent lining the streets, and then pull another handbrake again straight into the Abbey itself. Now they might have changed. No, that's definitely not a Bugatti. A bit of a surprise. I would have preferred the Bugatti Veyron. This is where Meghan would have been placed in stocks and hit with rotten fruit if she accepted the coronation invite. So there was a minor security incident earlier when police apprehended several of the Queen's corgis who were on the roof of Westminster Abbey, and they were there with sniper rifles. So those dogs have been put away and euthanized. A lovely sight. A rare day out for some of the King's cousins, who are usually hidden away due to various deformities caused by centuries of aggressive inbreeding. Right. For those wondering, the buffet afterwards will be held in a nearby Wetherspoons, and guests are limited to 2 chicken goujons per person to keep costs down, of course. Despite being in the royal family, of course, Charles has taken 73 years to finally find a job for himself. So it's a long time coming, this. Okay, for those asking about why Charles is exempt from inheritance tax, I have a statement from the palace here, and it reads, "Fuck you, plebs." Huge crowds now cheering. Hopefully the horses won't get spooked and run away really fast. That would be awful. For those just tuning in, really? Like, is this what you're doing with your life? The new Guardians of the Galaxy is on in the cinema, so just go to the pub, I don't know. So there he is, the pup himself, the little pup. Look at the head on him. He's staring everyone down. So obnoxious. Oh my god. So obnoxious. Everyone just scowling at him. Not even looking. Oh, isn't she gorgeous looking? Isn't she gorgeous looking? Oh, wow. Look at that. Lovely hat she's wearing. That may be a fake hand. And known to carry weapons. So she has a fake hand there in case anyone attacks her. Quite lethal, actually. She has murdered several people in the past who tried to attempt to court her. Visibly moved, Charles said, "I'm sad Jimmy Savile isn't here to see this." He said that earlier. Of course, Jimmy would have been a close friend of Charles and Camilla and the Queen and basically everyone in the royal family. So, sad day that he's not here to see this. He would be delighted, as would Charles's uncle, if we didn't blow him up in a lake. Slight delay now, sorry. Boris Johnson has got his penis stuck in a chapel glory hole, so they are delaying this procession until he gets that removed. It's not a big job. Now, according to a WWN poll, support for the monarchy is at an all-time low, much like King Charles' testicles. So, not as light as his mum, who, as I said, is still dead. Well, can you hear that? Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that in the feed there, but if you listen closely, listen now. There's a lovely rendition of "You Can Shove Your Coronation Up Your Arse" there by the Celtic Men's Choir from Scotland. So you can listen closely there. Of course, at 12 hours in length, the coronation ceremonies are slightly shorter than a Bruce Springsteen concert. As is tradition, the king gets to nominate a peasant to lie in front of his carriage to be brutally crushed. And a real honour there for whoever that is. Now, this is where King Charles will enter the Great West Door, while Camilla, as is tradition, as his consort, will use the Whore Door. So, 2 separate doors here. 2 separate doors. I have it under good authority, and the snipers on the roofs here around the Abbey are being trained to spot GAA jerseys in the crowd and eliminate all messers in sight. So if you are wearing a Tip or Kerry jersey, please hide that jersey, because they will literally blow your head off. Now, of course, this coronation is brought to you by King Crisps for all your cheese and onion needs. Not a bead of sweat. Can we zoom in on him? Can we zoom in on his head? Not one bead of sweat. I just want to prove the point here. No faker. I just want to prove the point. The man's innocent. Look at him. He's talking to his daughter. He's not even aroused. Not one bead of sweat. Now, he does look stunned. He might... What do you mean he has a peg? What's a peg? Now, of course, the locations here should be very familiar to anyone who played The Getaway on PlayStation 2 all those years ago. So, if you are a gamer, I'm sure you're in your element here. In an earlier statement, Charles declared that he was simply living his best life, that anyone who couldn't handle that could bounce. Look at that! It's Snow White. There's Snow White there. No sign of the dwarves. They've had to doctor this crown, and for his ears are quite large, so they've had to cut sides off the crown. There's Charles. Those fingers, eh? Look at those fingers. I'd say Camilla's quite a happy woman. I'd say he's some man to open a can of Coke. I'd say he could probably open several cans at once with those fingers. Boys choir there, again, they are all castrated at birth to keep that voice nice and high. Isn't she great? I mean, the amount of time this woman has put in here, all that graft over the years, putting up with Charles. It must be an emotional day for her. She's done it. She can now openly ignore Charles and not have to do all those awful things.
Hallelujah.
Archbishop of Canterbury. There he is. Looks like a man with questionable internet search history, but we won't get into that. Well, there he's on again with his boys. Mountbatten would be proud.
Will now turn to face south.
Oh, he's going south now.
Right honourable.
It's like, I suppose it's like a PlayStation cheat. You press up, down, left, right, X, square, and Y, and then, you know, you're king. It's pretty much like that. So that's why he has to face all these directions. It's a cheat code. Oh God, Philip would be turning in his grave right now.
Are you willing to take the oath?
I am willing.
He's willing. Imagine he said no. That would be great. If he said, no, actually, do you know what? I'm busy today.
Will you
walks
solemnly
out.
promise
That'd be
and
great.
swear?
The true intent
Or, of course,
the enactment
Protestants
to secure the Protestant succession
originated,
to
they
the throne,
didn't like ants,
uphold
so they
and
used to
maintain
protest
the said enactment
ants, and
to the
that's
best
where
of
they
my
got the name.
powers, according to law.
You won't find an ant in England. There's no ants. With the coronation now complete, it is official. And, of course, anyone who comes at Charles better not miss. Now, Charles will walk away from Westminster in slow motion as it explodes into a ball of fire behind him, with him not even bothering to look back, as is tradition. Surely there's better thrones than that. They could have at least got the one from Game of Thrones. That would have been a pretty cool throne, actually. They could have lent it from Belfast. They own the place.